The Nashville Predators face the best team in the entire league and come away looking like not the best team in the league. We'll tell you our one word to describe the loss to the Winnipeg Jets, and we're going to discuss what the Jets had that Nashville didn't. Plus, it is time for some New Year's resolutions.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Locked On Predators. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. We are, of course, your free Monday through Friday Nashville Predators podcast. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going to kick off, of course, this New Year's Eve episode the same way we kick off all of our episodes. That's with a shout out to our Locked On Predators insiders and to our everydayers. And also, we want to welcome any first time listeners joining in. We appreciate your support. We love trudging through this Nashville Predators season with y'all. I am Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer and co-host with Penalty Box Radio. And my friends, you know, I have a partner in crime.
You do. I'm Emma Lingen, and I'm the Predators site editor and reporter for the Hockey News. And my partner in crime, who you may have seen earlier if you were watching on YouTube, is my dog Minka, also known as upper management here at the Locked On Predators podcast.
She's making sure we are HR compliant as we record this episode. And there are some non-HR appropriate words that we may want to use to describe the loss to the Winnipeg Jets. That's right. On today's show, we are going to recap this loss. They hung in there with Winnipeg until they didn't. We're going to share one word to describe the game. We're going to talk about what went wrong for Nashville again. Of course, there is no time to fuss or squawk about this too long, friends, because tonight the Predators are off to play the second best team in the Central Division, the Minnesota Wild. We're going to preview that game. And of course, it is New Year's Eve. We want to wish you all a happy New Year's Eve. This is a good time to reflect and to set some resolutions. Emma and I have some suggestions for resolutions for some of the Nashville Predators. So we're going to talk about that too. Okay, Emma, help me out right out of the gate. Do you say, is it Happy New Year's Eve or is it Merry? It's Happy New Year's Eve, right? It's not Merry New Year's. It's Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Okay. It felt weird. Maybe because I was saying New Year's Eve. I was like, am I supposed to be saying Merry New Year's Eve?
No. I mean, you know what, Ann? You can say whatever you want. It's our show.
Our show, our rules.
Yeah,
that's right. We're going to try to get off to a better start with some other words. Of course, those of you who watch our show a lot know that we recap each and every Nashville Predators game with one word to describe the game. Here's the catch. Again, our show, our rules. Sometimes Emma and I use more than one word, and that's just going to have to be okay with you. So, Emma, looking at this 3-0 loss to the Winnipeg Jets, what is your one word to describe what unfolded there?
Well, as you predicted, it is going to be more than one word. My one word is actually 6 words. But one phrase. So my 1/6 words is play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Come on.
That is what the Nashville Predators did. This was an incredibly evenly matched game past the halfway point of it. I mean, really almost through 40 minutes. Till the very end of the second period, this was very evenly matched. One side, especially the first period, both teams had a power play chance. They went 0-for-1 on the power play. They had the shots were even at 9. I think through the second period, I mean, really through most of the game, they were within a shot of each other. They were not like one side was not getting dramatically outplayed or outchanced by the other. And yet the Predators played stupid games. They, you know what? They effed around and they found out, because when you're in that situation where like, holy crap, this is the best team in the league and we are right there with them. Also, a team that we have beat before, mind you, but we are right there. And it's not just like, oh, we've gotten some lucky bounces or like, whoo, like that was lucky. It's like, no, we are actually playing a very evenly balanced game with this team. It's the Winnipeg has the top power play in the league. Nashville comes in with the top penalty kill in the league. And they played like it through the whole game, almost the whole game.
Almost.
And then the third period came and they fell apart. Now, Winnipeg did open the scoring at the end of the second period. That was actually a very nice goal, very nice play by
oh my gosh, it was really nice.
Morgan Barron, brother of Predators defenseman Justin Barron, who did not play, but he had the cross crease pass to DeMello, who went bar down, just beautiful. Saros never saw it coming. Yeah. That was fine. It was the third period that was not fine. The Predators got into some serious penalty trouble, which is the last thing you want to do really ever, but maybe especially against the top power play in the league.
Yes. Yep.
And then what you really don't want to do is when you're already on the penalty kill, commit a too many men penalty. Remember that? It's back. The Predators' worst nightmare. It's back. Too many men on the ice. And this is where the stupid games and stupid prizes comes in, because first of all, Jeremy Lauzon, my guy, what are you doing?
What are we doing?
He had 3
what
penalties.
What are we doing?
And
they're going to name that strip of ice leading to the penalty box Jeremy Lauzon way, baby.
Yes, like it. And they were like, at least 2 of them were really dumb, like really dumb penalty. What are you doing? Cross-checking guys in the face. Come on. So anyway, there's that. But then while you're already close-ish, you're more than halfway through killing off one of those many Jeremy Lauzon penalties. And then here comes Mark Jankowski just tooting on out to the middle of the ice. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's it's ugh. And
it
so
wasn't
anyway,
even close too many men on the ice, y'all. It wasn't even, there were so clearly too many men on the ice. It wasn't like, oh, he was like a foot or 2 away from the bench, but he was like all the way out there playing.
He kind of did a, like a Scooby-Doo where he kind of like as soon as he got there, he's like, oh crap. And you see him turn around and just beat it back to the bench. And so, yes, just bad discipline, whether you want to blame coaching, players, whatever. It's just poor attention to detail at a moment when your attention to detail needs to be as precise as it's ever been. And so they played stupid games, they won stupid prizes, they effed around, they found out, that is when you make mistakes like that at that juncture in the game, you don't deserve to win.
Yeah. My one word, very similar. I actually did just have one word. This is so shocking because I normally don't. My one word is trenches. Like, this was a game, for much of the game, it was played in the trenches. And it took me back to like World War I movies where you have like one army on one side of a field in a trench, another army with, trenches on the other side. And it's just a mud pit, hot mess in the middle. And you gain maybe an inch of ground and then you lose it. And then an inch of ground and then you lose it. And the progress is minimal. Barely feel like you're making any headway, but then all of the sudden somebody lobs a grenade. And that's what happened in that stretch of the third period. It's like you felt kind of good with Nashville through, like you said, most of the first 2 periods. You could feel that first goal at the end of the second period coming. You could feel Nashville a little bit back on their heels because Winnipeg was just attack. And you could kind of feel it. But then the wheels just off the bus at the end of that third period, just totally off. It was like a grenade thrown in the trench. And it was very clear then who was going to win that war. And it was a shame because, like you said, these were 2 teams that were really trying to battle to gain an advantage through the start of this game. And I thought Nashville came out and looked pretty darn good until they didn't. It was like it's like they walked out of the bathroom with their skirt tucked in their pantyhose in that third period, y'all. That's just what it was like.
And toilet paper stuck to their shoe.
Paper stuck. You had a great outfit and a great pair of shoes, but you got toilet paper stuck to it and your skirts tucked in your pantyhose.
Wet toilet paper. We're
Wet
bringing a callback. Callback.
We're bringing it back. Coming up, we are going to break down a little bit more about this game. We want to talk too about the performance of Juuse Saros, and we're going to check in on what we thought about Vinny Hinostroza. Today's episode is brought to you by our great friends at Rocket Money. If saving money and getting your finances in order is one of your New Year's resolutions, we want to encourage you to check out Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it is subscriptions or your spending habits or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and it's saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. One of the best features is that subscription tracker. Look, we have all signed up for subscription services and then we forget about them, but Rocket Money is going to track those down so you can see exactly where your money may be going. Plus, with their goals feature, you're going to be able to automatically set aside money for the future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. Again, check it out at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, Emma, definitely not what you wanted to see from the Nashville Predators, especially after that St. Louis Blues game. You thought, okay, that was like shaking off the rust and dust. Let's get back to it. The beginning of this game looked like Nashville was getting back to it. The end of the game, again, skirt tucked in pantyhose. Not a great look. There were some things that I do think are worth talking about. One of those is the performance of Juuse Saros, because while the team did not rebound like you would have wanted down the stretch, Juuse Saros, who struggled in that St. Louis game, my goodness, did he do basically all he could do to keep Nashville in this game. And it was great to see him back in there and doing such a great job, especially against a team where basically everybody on that Jets roster is an offensive weapon.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. The Winnipeg Jets are just about as complete of a team as you can come up with in this league. And so they really don't have any kind of weak points there. And so it was a tremendous performance by Saros. I mean, in general, but particularly considering the context of, he got pulled in the second period after giving up, what was it, 4 goals against St. Louis?
I think the fifth one was the one where they were like, Root.
Yeah, well, that was it. He got 4 goals in the first period, and then it was the 5th goal where he got yanked. But either way, tremendous response from him. He put the team on his back. This was an evenly matched game. It was 2 of the best goaltenders in the league, and 2 of the most used goaltenders in the league up against each other. I mean, it was a goaltending masterclass. And once again, tale as old as time. The Predators completely waste a fantastic performance from their goaltender, who was doing everything he could to keep them in this game where offense was not plentiful for most of it for either team.
Yeah. And it's interesting, you talk about those 2 goaltenders. Anytime you have a game where you have Juuse Saros and Connor Hellebuyck in net, you just need to tune in. Regardless of rooting for one of those teams or not, those are 2 goaltenders, very different. Like one of these things is not like the other. One of them you stack on top of each other and then they're face to face. Like they're just built differently. They play very differently, but you are going to get goaltending that makes you go, damn. And Connor Hellebuyck had some damn saves himself. Like this was such a strictly goaltending speaking. This was chef's kiss. Interestingly, According to Natural Stat Trick, which is a site that I really love, the Jets' high danger chance is 10 to Nashville's 4. So Juuse Saros, man, just doing all he could to keep Nashville in it. And so that was good to see. And I don't know that I was seriously concerned, but you just don't see Juuse Saros struggle like he did in St. Louis. So I think it's good to see him kind of get back in net and play from puck drop with that kind of confidence. Vinny Hinostroza made his debut for the Nashville Predators, not, of course, his NHL debut. Been around at Vinny Hinostroza. He's a whole 30 years old, y'all. What did you see from him? Did anything kind of jump out? Where was your comfort level with what we got from Hinostroza?
Well, I think, the whole reason you bring up Hinostroza is you're looking for a little bit more scoring power. We didn't see that, but we didn't see it from anyone on this team. So
that's a fact. Big
really
fat 0 in goals.
Yep. But I think, I was very comfortable with him because this is a guy who's got more than 300 NHL games to his name. He's been around the block a few times. He's a guy that I would put Mark Jankowski in this category for, this year he's been a regular in the Predators lineup, but the last couple of seasons, he's kind of been that first call up guy where he's kind of that consummate extra forward, and you feel comfortable knowing what you're going to get from him. And that's how I felt about Hinostroza. I mean, he was all over the ice. He played the fewest minutes, I believe, of any of the Predators players, but that's not surprising considering it's his first game. I think he played just over, 11:27 in the game. So, not terrible, but I think that he was all over the place. He had a shot on goal. He had a couple of hits. I think that he made a couple of good defensive plays as well.
Yeah.
And so, he looked comfortable out there, which why wouldn't he? He's been here before, not with this team, but this is not new to him. So
yeah.
For a team that is as kind of fragile as this one is right now, he's a guy that I'm comfortable having out there because you pretty much know what you're going to get from him.
It's interesting that you talk about, being comfortable as Hinostroza being a guy you get out there, and comfortability from Andrew Brunette towards a player in kind of that role has been hard to come by. And we saw it with Phil Tomasino. We saw it with Juuso Parson, and, we saw it last season with Cody Glass. Like, Andrew Brunette has to have a good feeling in his gut to keep a player in the lineup. And I feel like you're right. Vinny Hinostroza did the things that are going to make Andrew Brunette very comfortable having him on this roster for now. It was interesting that he did pop him up to play a little bit with O'Reilly and Nyquist and move LaRue down to play with Sissons McCarron, which is something that LaRue is very, he had done that before. But I do think we didn't get to see quite as much of his offensive side. But again, we didn't see much of anybody's offensive side. This was just not going to be one of those games where you're going to see somebody offensively just really pop off. But I did like that. The other thing I will say, I thought, got to give a shout out. I thought Brady Shea had a good game. And I know we've been pretty hard on Brady Shea. I thought he had a good game. Adam Wilsby and Sir Blankenberg, they have zero interest in going back to the AHL. Now I know that Wilsby was on the PK when the whole too many men on the ice thing happened. And that's not great, but you got to love what you are seeing from those two guys. They have zero interest in going back to Milwaukee. And I think, going up against the best team in the league, going up against players like Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, these guys are goal scorers. This whole team is a goal scoring team. I thought that they did a really good job with that as well. So I think there were some bright spots in a game that just ended up pantyhose tucked in your skirt. What are we doing? What are we doing? All right, everybody, tonight, the Nashville Predators, you do not get a chance to fuss or squawk. They're just going to have to turn the page on this. They're going to have to all buy into Jonathan Marchessault's "It's midnight. What can we do to get better?" Because tonight, they're playing the Minnesota Wild. And I don't know if you know this. If you think the Winnipeg Jets being the best team in the entire league is shocking, so is the Minnesota Wild being the second best team in the Central Division. Like, not sure we, all saw this one coming. This is a game where metaphorically Nashville needs to wear pants so they don't tuck their skirt in their pantyhose. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, y'all put on dress pants tonight.
Put on your damn pants, guys.
Put, put on your damn pants, y'all. Yeah. Minnesota 22-11-4. They're 4-6-0 in their last 10. They did lose Sunday to Ottawa. Ottawa, that's a whole podcast right there. Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's
Locked
happening.
On Senators. Go check them out.
Go check them out. They're fantastic. And they will actually tell you, but Ottawa's a fun one to watch. When you look at this game tonight against Minnesota, what's the biggest factor for this in this game? What's going to be a big factor?
Well, I think, first of all, Minnesota, like you said, shocking start to the season.
Yeah.
They did kind of limp into the holiday break a little bit. Like you said, they're 4-6-0.
4-6-0. Yep.
4-6-0
in their last 10.
Over their last 10. In their last 5, I believe they're 2-3-0, which is actually what the Predators are in their last 5. So, I mean, if you're looking at it that way, no, I think, again, there are a few things. If you look at Minnesota, they're a team that, again, that had this really great start. Unlike Winnipeg, I don't think that Minnesota is as complete of a team or
I
as
would
deep
agree.
of a team in terms of their scoring attack. I mean, if you look at their, it's Kirill Kaprizov all day long on everything.
Mm-hmm.
He leads the team with 50 points. For context, Philip Forsberg leads the Nashville Predators in points, and he has 30. So
that feels so much like a skirt tucked in pantyhose, but go ahead.
A little bit. So Kirill Kaprizov is wearing his pants, and he has 50 points this season. Yep. He's also he's leading the team in goals, assists, everything. So obviously, key number 1 is shut that guy down. But I think you have to try to take advantage of, the margins whatever advantages you can take advantage of. Guys, I'm tired.
Yes. That's legit.
I think I just got my skirt tucked in my pantyhose.
Put some shorts on, Emma. We need a skort.
Don't tell HR. She's asleep.
Oh gosh. Yeah. We better be careful.
Yeah. So no, I think that, this is a less complete, a less deep team than Winnipeg is, but I don't think that I still don't think you should approach it any differently, because I talked about this on yesterday's episode, but like Nashville can be the trap game for people now. It's kind of what it was for Los Angeles, for the Kings. And I think that they can lean into that. They can use that to their advantage, but only if they actually do. And I think that we assume we're going to have Juuse Saros in goal, because we had Saros against Winnipeg. So, and Nashville will be on obviously the back end of a back-to-back. Minnesota will be on the front end of a back-to-back, because they will be playing, I believe, Washington the next night. So, they're going to have that in mind too. We don't know which way they're going to go with their goaltending as far as who they're going to start versus not. So I just think that it's a team that in theory should be more, it should be beatable. I think that they're just not as much of a threat as Winnipeg is on paper. But again, if you play the way you did in that third period against Winnipeg, then you don't deserve to win another damn game this whole year.
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to tell you where we think Nashville can gain some advantage against Minnesota. And then, friends, it is New Year's Eve. It's time for resolutions. Emma and I have come to the table with some suggestions for some of the Nashville Predators. If you like talking about what is going on with the Nashville Predators, if you're interested in recapping game performances and talking about what is coming up next for the Nashville Predators, we want to invite you to join our Locked On Predators Insiders subtext community. You're going to get a chance to chat with Emma and I beyond the podcast, ask any of your questions, of course, share your one word to describe the game, and you're going to hear breaking news before we hit the record button. We have this amazing Locked On Predators Insider community, and we would love for you to join us. Details are in the description of this episode or in the link in our bio. All right, Emma, when you're talking about advantaging the advantages, one of them that I think is so important for Nashville tonight is special teams. And we did not see much at all in Winnipeg from the Nashville Predators power play. And that is something that they are absolutely going to have to address. Minnesota is 30th on the penalty kill. Nashville needs to figure out their power play and take advantage of any opportunities that they get. Minnesota's 24th on the power play, again, 30th on the penalty kill. So I feel like if Nashville could get something cooking with Forsberg, with, Josi, with Marchessault, with Ryan O'Reilly, with Steven Stamkos in the office, that would be really big for Nashville. But man, you saw none of that against Winnipeg. So I think if that is one of those advantages, like get it together on the power play, for the love, get it together on the power play. So for me, I'm going to be watching in special teams as well. Minnesota does not give up a lot of goals. They give up the 6th fewest goals in the league. So just, again, it comes down to put shots on net, have guys there for rebounds. Some of it is just basic, but basic often leads to success. And I think Nashville needs to do the basic things. And by the way, Jeremy Lauzon, don't even think about it.
Just stop it.
Just don't even think about it. Okay.
Stop it.
Yeah. Here's your New Year's resolution, Jeremy Lauzon. Stay out of there. Well, it is New Year's Eve. And of course, Emma, do you do New Year's resolutions?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really anymore. I don't know.
I went through a phase where, I was big into resolutions. Then I went through a phase for like 5 years where I did like a word for the year, like a theme.
Your one word.
My one word for the year. Yeah, I'm back to resolutions, but okay. I tend to do them. I'm very realistic, y'all, because I'm a girl who likes a little taste of success, but I don't want to have to work super, super hard. So like, you aren't seeing Ann losing 100 pounds this year. Like, that is not happening. But I do some resolutions. But we wanted to take just a few minutes and maybe just offer some gentle suggestions to the Nashville Predators when it comes to maybe some New Year's resolutions that they might want to commit to. Emma, do you want to start us off? Do you have a player, coach, GM, anything that you want to suggest? Like, hey, here's one.
Oh, where to begin? I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few. Where do I want to start? All right. I'll go with I'm going to go with Barry Trotz for number
Love
one.
It. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Barry Trotz for number one.
I wonder if we have the same one.
As much as I stand by everything that I've said about what Barry Trotz has done this year and, how he has the right to do what he wants to do and how all of these moves and trades and things that he's made are for the greater good. And, it's part of a bigger plan. But I would say, other than the Scott Wedgwood, Eustace Onanen trade,
mm-hmm.
a lot of the trades he's made this year have not looked great. The optics have not been great. So I would say, Barry, just keep in mind the optics. It shouldn't matter, but like it does matter a little bit. And, a lot of these, if you're getting picks back, we're not really going to know the value until, you get a few years down the road. But I think that, be mindful of some of these trades, because I think with a guy like Alex Carrier, for example, he had offers for him at the deadline last year.
Right. Oh, he was a hot name.
Chose not to take those offers, instead chose to re-sign him, and then did a 1-for-1 swap this year. Now, I still believe that, you know, the cap space and the flexibility and the youth and the size that they get in Justin Barron, all good things. All good things. But the optics of the trade, with all of that context that you have, the fact that you had multiple offers on the table where you probably could have gotten a high draft pick, not great. It's not great. So let's just, you know, keep in mind the optics of some of the trades that we're making, Barry, because people are noticing. It's not great.
Yeah. People see things. Mine for Barry Trotz is get a center.
Yeah.
Get a center.
I think that's his too.
Yeah, I think it is too. He and I are on the same page. You know, it was interesting. In one of the media scrums, somebody asked Andrew Brunette, like, what is your New Year's resolution? And I thought it was really interesting. He said to find joy when the puck isn't bouncing your way. It's easy to find joy when the puck is bouncing your way, but what are you like? Where are you going to find that love and joy when the Predators are predatoring right now? And I thought that was good. For me, I would suggest, just throwing this out there, something for Andrew Burnett to work on over the next 365 days. Maybe give young players consistency. Give them some consistency. And you know, see what happens.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about a lot. It's the players are held to different standards, and you know, there he has explained his reasoning for it. Barry Trotz has explained the reasoning for it, and you know, we won't rehash all of that here. And you know, it's a well laid out argument, but I agree with you. It's like, I think in the long run, it does harm a player's, you know, confidence going forward. Where do I want to go with this? I guess I'll go Tommy Novak.
Oh, what do you got for Tommy for the next year?
Tommy Novak, remember, like, I feel like, I don't know if he does, but I feel like he is playing like he has imposter syndrome. Like he shouldn't be there or something. And you know what, buddy? There were a lot of people who thought that you shouldn't be there. And you are unfortunately proving them right. You know, people did not like the contract extension that he was signed to last year. They thought it was too much for an unproven, relatively, asset. You know, they're paying him to be a 2C, but not really giving him the chance. And so he has been kind of relegated, if you want to use that term, to the third line. But he has been in one of the most consistent line combinations throughout the season.
Yeah.
So you should, even if it is the third line, okay, fine. But you know, this is a line, at least with him and Evangelista and Jankowski, that has been effective in the past, like even before this season. So why are you acting like you're playing like you don't think you belong there, or you're nervous, or you're not confident in your own ability? You're a freaking NHL center, dude. Like, go out there. Yeah, you got ragdolled in the playoffs last year. It wasn't great. But this team showed faith in you by signing you to this contract extension. No one's expecting you to be the guy. No one's expecting you to be Steven Stamkos out there. But you need to give us a little bit more, because this is a guy who has really kind of disappeared over the last stretch of games. And he's a guy that you need to be scoring some goals. And on that, I would tack on, I've got my another bonus resolution. Philip Forsberg.
Oh, say it. Say it for all of us. Say it for the people in the back.
I think it is so wonderful that Philip Forsberg has unlocked this new maybe not new, but a dormant facet of his game where he is the assist machine and he's dishing the puck out to everybody. And he's had a 6-game point streak that, of course, ended in the game against Winnipeg, but 6-game point streak. He just has assists everywhere. He's still leads the team in points with 30. 21 of those points are assists. That's wonderful. But
say it, Emma, say it. Full-throated, say it.
You are coming off the season in which you set a new franchise record for single season goals, and you have 9 goals almost at the halfway point of the season. Again, for a fourth line guy, like if you tell me that like Michael McCarron has 9 goals, cool,
super.
Great. Philip Forsberg is a guy that I think, not to say that he's had zero impact on this team and that his presence has not been felt and that he hasn't been doing good things, because he has. However, this is a guy that you need to score goals if this team has a chance at anything. I don't even know if we can talk about playoffs at this point anymore, but just has a chance of winning, period. That's a guy that you need to get going and you need to find the back of the net.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. I love what you're saying about Tommy Novak, because he is, and I don't know why this popped in my head. He is somebody who says, and I don't know why this popped. He's somebody who says zoinks instead of shit. Play like you say shit and not zoinks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he looks timid. He looks timid out there.
He looks timid. Like,
and you know what? Like, yeah, you're a smaller guy, and that's been, an issue. But it can be an issue. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if you're not going to get bigger, then at least use that to your advantage. We've talked about it before. He's a slippery player. He knows how to move out of the way just at the right time, and find these spaces on the ice. And so it's like, but do that, because we've seen him do it before. And now it's like it's like that first year he came up when everyone and their brother was injured or traded in the 22-23 season. That was like when we got our first long look at Tommy Novak. And he was leading the team in scoring the second half of that year. And it was because okay, he kind of had to. And now I don't know if he feels like, oh, well, I'm not saying he feels this way, but he's playing this way that like, oh, well, I'm not Steven Stamkos or Jonathan Marchessault or Philip Forsberg. I know my place. Let me fall back in line here. It's like, no. I don't think anyone's going to be mad at you if you steal their thunder and start scoring goals, dude. Like so that's
a big one.
It's
hard to watch because that there is more there.
It's frustrating because we've seen it.
More there.
We've seen it before. It's not just like, come on, dude. Like, are you going to do anything? It's like, no, you have done this before.
Yeah.
You have it. Where is it? So,
yeah. I would say my one, this is non-hockey related, but I feel very passionately about this one. And this is for Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, and Ryan O'Reilly. And if you have listened to some of the recent episodes, you know exactly where I'm going with this. But gentlemen, once a month, you need to plan some sort of special event, activity, dinner out with your wife. Go to Jeff Ruby's, and for the love of God, wear your Stanley Cup rings. For the love of God. If they weren't meant to be worn, we'd call them finger trophies. It's a ring. Wear your Stanley Cup ring.
I kind of like
remember
trophies.
Who you are. I know, but then you feel like you can't wear it. And I'm like, and they were kind of trying to tell me like, well, they're not really for wearing. Well, they call them rings.
Yeah.
So just, bust out the Stanley Cup ring. That's just, and also Zachary LaRue. I would like Zachary LaRue to once a week submit a movie, a 1-sentence movie review in the
Yes.
locker room for us, as he
Yeah.
did with Moana 2, which, by the way, if you missed that episode, he said was an effing great movie. You can
Mhm.
quote me on that. I just really feel like the world would be better with a little more one sentence Zachary LaRue movie reviews. LaRue movie review. There's something there. We could workshop this.
LaRue review with LaRue, something like that.
Review with LaRue. Maybe
Yeah.
that could be a new segment. Maybe we could just bring him on, be like, we just need one sentence. Give us, all right, we're going to workshop that, everybody.
We'll get back to you on that.
We're going to get back to you on that. Yeah, I think there's definitely, we can all say as 2024 wraps up, there is some definite room for improvement with the Nashville Predators up and down the lineup. And of course, even in the new year, who is going to be there to break it all down with you? Emma and I are going to be there to break it all down with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Make us your first listen of the day. There's your resolution. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make Locked On Predators my first listen of the day. There may be other voices you might want to listen to first, but if not, dive right in. We're there. Good morning. Yeah. So there's one for all of our listeners out there. We will be back tomorrow. We're going to review whatever unfolds tonight in Minnesota. Let's see if the Nashville Predators can clean up some things, see if they can play with some consistency for 60 minutes. Let's see if Philip Forsberg can score a goal. Just throwing it out there. Going to see what sticks. We will be back for that tomorrow. Before we sign off today, though, Emma, let everyone know where they can find you and your work.
You can find me on social media at Emma_Lingen, and you can find my work at the Hockey News.
And you can find Minka in the front office writing up any sort of HR report that I think I did say a swear word. That's gonna go.
You'll be hearing from Minka shortly.
I'll be hearing from Minka. I'll be getting that pink slip. Yeah. You can find my work with Penalty Box Radio. You can find me on social media at AnnK_Mama on Ice. You can also find the podcast on social media, LO_Predators as well. Thank you so much for hanging in with us through 2024. We will, of course, like I said, be here to kick off 2025 as well. So stay tuned. Y'all have a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve, and we will see you tomorrow.